New on Curiosity Stream.
Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean you can't.
Watch Earth's greatest minds forge our path to a better tomorrow. It's engineering the future. And Jaws, Star Wars, The Godfather, E.T. The biggest movies have even bigger music. From King Kong to The Dark Knight. See how musicians scored Hollywood's greatest hits on great film composers' music of the movies. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Hey, all the Macholas, thank you so much for listening to the Men's Room Podcast.
And thanks to our pals at the Advocates Law Firm for being great partners. Yes, even you, creepy Kyle.
Seriously, though, if you had been injured as a result of somebody else in your car, on your bike, walking across the street, talk to our friends at the Advocates Law Firm and let them help you out.
Yeah, they're the best injury lawyers around, and they want to make sure that you're not taken advantage of. Plus, your first consultation is free.
It's simple. You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
Hey, it's Miles. Thank you guys for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast.
Have you heard our newest podcast? It's called The Greatest Story Never Told.
Download it today on radio.com. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded every Tuesday at noon.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
Hello, there we go. Welcome to Season 16, episode number 3409. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and my cock. And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, it is a random question. Your guess is as good as mine. Categories: your favorite tennis shoes and our favorite quarantine foods. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, a Men's Room shout of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite TV time with Ted.
Click, clack.
All right, here we go. Man tells cops the heroin in his car is actually a chocolate laxative that helps him with stinky time. Meanwhile, a man falls through the ceiling into a woman's locker room at a gym, and yes, peeping is a crime. Peruvian lawyer caught having sex during virtual court hearing asked to speak to the judge. Florida man attacks 2 cops and a K9 police dog and warned that he would not budge. And a Detroit woman wakes up and discovers someone stole her porch. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Oh, the bitches, good day to you and yours. All right, anyone in or who has been in a relationship knows that relationships, they take work and effort. And work and effort simply means compromise. Now, a lot of times that translates to little more than just biting your tongue. Just don't say the thing. But sometimes we just can't help ourselves. In South Carolina, a couple got into a heated argument, and not just because they were drinking heavily, but because the wife made a snide comment about the fact that her husband has only one testicle. As you might imagine, he's a little sensitive about that, and things escalated from there. And there's other things you might want to keep to yourself when chatting with your significant other. Let's learn a lesson from actor Armie Hammer. Now, he's been having some PR issues ever since he told his ex that he wanted to break her ribs, barbecue them, and eat them. Seems he has a cannibalistic fantasy, which is all good and fine, until you tell your girlfriend that you literally want to eat her. Keep in mind, he wasn't being mean. He wasn't saying it as a threat. He's using this as pillow talk. Like, hey, side note, I've always wanted to eat someone, and baby, you're the girl for me. But every relationship is different. Hell, there's a woman in West Virginia. She got married about 2 years ago after her original boyfriend was murdered. Now, sure, her sister killed her boyfriend after injecting him with meth and choking him. And yes, she married her own father, but to each their own. Now, these are just some of the stories that we've seen. Stories, yes, Dad. It is exactly as I stated. These are just some of the stories that we've seen. Stories that left us with many, many questions. Questions we'd like to ask you in the form of our random question. And this is how it works. You call us, we'll ask you a question that completes random. And after you share your answer, we'll share with you the news story that inspired said question.
Be part of the big show, the random question. Call 206-421-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
New on Curiosity Stream, she was a loving wife, a devoted mother. She also stole atomic secrets and gave them to the Soviets. Meet the woman whose deception kick-started the Cold War on the spy who stole the atom bomb. And
what if they catch you?
Then I shall be shot.
They're coming! Come back!
relive history's most death-defying escapes. It's Impossible Escapes, Civil War. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
Hey, all the Bacholas, thank you so much for listening to the Men's Room Podcast.
And thanks to our pals at the Advocates Law Firm for being great partners. Yes, even you, creepy Kyle.
Seriously, though, if you'd been injured as a result of somebody else in your car, on your bike, walking across the street, talk to our friends at the Advocates Law Firm and let them help you out.
Yeah, they're the best injury lawyers around, and they want to make sure that you're not taken advantage of. Plus, your first consultation is free.
It's simple. You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Back to the conversation. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Oh, no, Malcolm. The conversation is just getting started. Old Bacholas, and away we go. Welcome to Season 16, episode number 3,409. What a large and a charged program we have for you today. A guaranteed future repeat. Once again, the exciting return of your guest as good as mine. Categories are your top 10 favorite sports shoe brands from around the world. So if you look at your favorite athlete, what brand they repping there? Probably one of those on the top 10 list. I would assume if they are very popular, anything they wear is on this top 10 list.
I don't know. There was one popular basketball player. His name was Shaquille O'Neal. I knew only one guy that had a pair of Shaq shoes.
Well, there's a lot of people who don't like to shop at Target for their basketball shoes. I just found that they were on sale, and it was about a third of the cost as the Air Jordans. You know what I mean? So
he could dunk, but he couldn't hit a free throw.
Kobe shoes were expensive back then. But Shaq, man, he gave you a deal. He was an everyman.
Did Shaq give you a deal?
He let every man wear his shoes. That's why you got to appreciate Shaquille O'Neal. He was out there for the common man, not just the people who could afford that kind of stuff. And then we have, as we are still in the midst of this crazy pandemic and everybody's quarantining, we have your 10 favorite quarantine foods. Let's face it, most of us in here have been making a lot more food at home, cooking a lot more, maybe trying some new recipes. I know, Steve, you've been on what seems to be an endless chicken and dumpling kick.
Yeah, man. We've been going down chicken and biscuit. Chicken and biscuit. Well, chicken and biscuits at least once a week.
Okay.
Right, because the weather's crap, it's cold, all that kind of thing. And that is, one, it's a hit with the kids, which makes life a hell of a lot easier. You're not cooking a separate meal. But, but experimenting a bit, actually planning out meals, which is ridiculous.
Ted, you're like roasting vegetables and making chicken and just
going with sheet pan vegetables.
Sheet pan vegetables.
Yes. Yeah. Turns out there's a reason they're on all those lists because it is that easy to cook.
Yeah. Just throw them in for a little while and boom, before you know it, man, nothing better than a roasted carrot.
Ooh, a roasted chicken.
I can think of a lot of things better than a roasted carrot.
Actually, I didn't roast any carrots, Miles.
What was that? Was that squash?
Just squash.
Okay. All right. Look good, man.
Getting squashy.
I'm making. I'm almost tired of chicken thighs at this point.
Well, I heard you made an exciting Boboli pizza, which apparently.
Oh yeah, how was that?
Okay, you're not going to believe this. All right, so I see a couple people over the weekend. How was your birthday and all that? It's like it was great. I went home and I made a Boboli pizza.
Yeah,
and they're like, "What's a Boboli pizza?" Two different people. So I walk in here this morning, and Sarah, she comes in the office, and she's like, "How was your birthday? What did you do?" By the way, Joey Diaz made one of the best chocolate chip cookies I've had in a long time. All credit to him. Who the hell knew that man could make cookies?
He had very good cookies.
He needs to open up his own cookie shop.
All right.
I mean, the cookie was fantastic. Anyway, so she says, "What did you do for your birthday?" I said, "Nothing. I went home and I made a Boboli pizza." And she said, "What is a Boboli pizza?" And I'm just like, my mind is blown on this. Like,
people don't know what Boboli is.
She's like, "Well, that must be way back in the day." I'm like, "Yeah, way back in the day of going when you went to the grocery store." How's everybody missed this thing? Is it me?
Well, she is right.
What do you mean? Did they fall out of favor?
No, Boboli is just a little bit dated. I mean, people still eat them, but it was a massive deal like in the early 90s.
No, but they're still, like Miles, they get the end cap. I mean,
but that's pre-DiGiorno or Freshetta or all these good high-end frozen pizzas. These kids don't know.
They don't know Boboli. I can't believe it. I thought we'd almost do it as a question of the day. Like,
how was the pizza, though?
It was freaking great.
All right.
Yeah, pizza was fantastic, man. Hooked it up. It was good stuff. So we have your top 10 quarantine foods, foods people have been eating more often, and your top 10 favorite shoe brands from around the world, athletically speaking. That's coming up with your guess is as good as mine. And today is the day that we do our random question. 206-421-ROCK.
Random.
Hello, Matt. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bichola.
Hola. Matt, welcome to the program. And a random question. Okay, here. Let's see. Matt, I've got one for you. Matt, speaking of food, since we're going to get into that maybe, possibly, with your guess is as good as mine, what would you say at this point in time, what are you tired of eating? What have you eaten enough of where you're like, you know what, man, I'm kind of getting sick of this?
This is going to sound like sacrilegious because I'm Italian, but pasta.
I don't know if I could ever get sick of eating pasta.
Because pasta is versatile. You don't have to eat pasta the same way. There's a million different things.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, I don't know, man. It's like I never feel like, you know when you eat like chicken wings, you have that good, hearty, like I'm full feeling. When I eat pasta, I never get that. I just feel like, you know, how you feel when you eat a bunch of carbs.
You don't get full from eating pasta?
No, man. Like, I mean, I do, but like not the same way. It's not.
It doesn't last as long.
Satisfying. Exactly.
How many times being a paisano do you eat pasta during the week?
It used to be like probably once a week, but since the pandemic, probably 3 times.
I go about 2. I love it.
But are you switching up are you doing angel hair and doing rotelli? I mean, are you mixing it up or you just keep eating the same pasta?
Mix it up, but I know this sounds weird, but I'm not a fan of angel hair, so I've been doing like rigatoni.
I love angel hair.
I do too.
I really like it.
Right, but I don't know. I like that round noodle with it holds more stuff.
You know, the one that really is crappy, I accidentally bought the other day was the pasta that has the hole in the middle of it. It's actual pasta, like,
there's a hole in the middle.
Yeah, it's like it's so thick that there's a hole bored through the middle of the pasta.
Talking about rigatoni?
No, it's regular pasta, like long pasta, but it's got a hole in the middle of it. I'm like, what is this?
I know what
like
you're talking
spaghetti.
about. Yeah.
I'm like, what is this crap?
It's great for a snorkel or a flavorless Twizzler, but yeah, it's not my favorite.
It's a straw
to cook with. Why did you buy that?
I accidentally bought it because I grabbed 2. So I grabbed angel hair in the box behind it, thinking that was the box behind it.
Yeah.
And the box behind it was that crap, and I didn't realize it until I ran out of angel hair.
It's like eating intestines.
I think you're right, though.
Why is it? You notice like 90% of the time someone serves me spaghetti, it's angel hair. Like, angel hair isn't spaghetti, is it?
No, it's not spaghetti. Spaghetti. I mean, spaghetti. It's even labeled spaghetti. But angel hair, look, for my money, and every person's different. I like angel hair. It's just thinner. I enjoy eating it a little more. Spaghetti, it's just for what people serve spaghetti with. It's too thick of a noodle for me.
But I'm with Matt.
I go in between. Capellini. Is it Capellini?
Capellini is angel hair. That's number 11, I believe.
I thought angel hair was smaller.
They're right there. Either way, they're close enough.
You're like one step up.
Yeah, it's like I like those 2, and then I like rigatoni. So I'm one extreme of the other.
But it depends what you're having with it, because the pastas are designed to hold certain sauces and all that kind of thing. But I don't think I could ever get sick of it.
Okay, the reason why I asked what are...
I never eat it.
Really?
Like, I like spaghetti, a couple weeks ago, I cooked a piece of lasagna. But for some reason, just sitting at home making a box of spaghetti, I'm just like, man.
I rarely make spaghetti with, red sauce. But, you can put anything with pasta, generally speaking, and it's pretty good. So, to me, pasta is my go-to, and I'll figure out other crap to put with it.
Reason why I asked, what are you tired of eating? 4 guys in Kunming, China, were flying home from a business trip recently, and they were taking about 66 pounds of oranges with them. They were leaving Kunming. The airline told them there was an extra fee for shipping the oranges.
Because there were so many, or because they're orange? Oh, okay.
Because it was 66 pounds of them. So they said it's going to be $46. You figure you have an extra bag, it's 50 pounds, whatever.
That's more than that.
They're going to charge you the $35. So when you're talking 66 pounds, they up the ante, they come out with $46. Well, that was 6 times what they paid for the oranges.
Damn.
So these guys thought the fee was way too expensive. So what do you think they did?
Ate half of them.
Ted?
I like that idea. Let's eat them.
Yeah.
The guys thought the fee was too expensive, so they stood there for an hour and they ate all the oranges.
Nice.
66 pounds?
That's 16 or 17 pounds of oranges per person.
Good God.
How many oranges in a pound?
I don't know.
Yeah, either way, their plan backfired when all of them wound up with mouth ulcers from eating all that acid.
Yes.
And one of them says, quote, "I will never eat an orange again."
Yeah, just pay the fee, man.
16 pounds of oranges before you get on an airline flight.
God damn.
God.
By the way,
Good
Miles.
for your bowels.
No.
Bucatini is the pasta you're talking about.
Bucatini.
The one that has a big hole.
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
says, Bucatini's fantastic. Miles, you're nuts. Someone else adds, Trader Joe's frozen pizza crust way better than Boboli. Now you know. But at least they know what Boboli is.
And you know what? Like you did on Big Dummy with Kirkland brand and Costco.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised
if they're one and the same.
If the company that makes that for Trader Joe's isn't Boboli, because they do the same thing with a lot of their mainstream stuff.
Boboli, though?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I know they do a lot of it for a lot of different house brands that are Trader Joe's.
I just don't see Boboli reaching out like that.
But it makes sense.
Boboli's like, yo, we're Boboli.
Apparently nobody knows who the hell they are.
You buy us or you don't.
Or you don't know who we are.
Well, that's the thing. Apparently no one knows what Boboli is.
Well, it's just like I was explaining to Mike, though, last week when Miles was talking about it, and I was like, oh, man, Boboli, great. But, like, that was a massive deal for home pizza.
Yep.
Because before that, you had that little crappy one from Chef Boyardee in the box.
Right.
Or you, like, rolled out, like, crescent rolls or something. But I just don't know for these newfangled kids if Boboli matters.
But Boboli is still, I believe, the pioneer of the pre-made pizza crust for you to make at home.
I had Chef Boyardee pizza sauce, so I took the best of both worlds.
Is that any good?
It has this certain taste to
I know it has
that
a
just-
certain taste. I said,
can't.
is it good?
I like it, but I like it the way I like Spam or other things that just are recognizable. As far as rating them from a Consumer Report standpoint, it's got to be the worst pizza sauce out there. But I like the flavor to it.
Dude, I pay, like, if I get pasta sauce, generally it's like from meatballs.
All right.
But there's this one brand, I can't think of the name now, but it looks like Chef Boyardee's on there, but it's not him. And it
Like
is-
sous chef Girardi?
I'll try to find it, but it is awesome sauce.
Okay.
Awesome sauce.
Awesome sauce.
God, you sound like a 12-year-old girl.
It's not Muni.
Awesome sauce.
It's not Muni, is it?
Random.
By the way, Ted, someone says, and I agree with this 100%, angel hair pasta in any shellfish, damn good.
Yeah, summertime pasta
yeah.
goes much better.
Hello, Robert. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and Oars.
Liquor and Whores. All right, Robert.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Well, appreciate it, man. Thank you. Robert, this might be a little bit of an awkward question, but we think we can answer it here. Physically speaking, what would you say that you are the most self-conscious about?
My nipples.
Oh, God. What is
Okay.
it about you? I mean, are they the size of pepperonis? They look like yarmulkes?
No. It's the complete opposite. They're like the size of dimes.
You got little tiny nipples. I don't think anybody's ever complained about little tiny
sure
nipples.
I got the world's tiniest nipples.
Yeah,
man.
but if they're that tiny, it gets to the point they're weird. Like when they're really, really small. I mean, like, can you look in the mirror, or like when you're in gym class, I feel like, as a guy anyway, elementary schools when you started to understand some of the differences, right? And I almost said his name. There was a dude had abnormally large nipples, and it was unsightly. But I never had anyone with teeny tiny itty bitty. So, like, did they ever make fun of you in gym, or have you ever had a woman say, like, "Oh my God, you have tiny nipples"?
Never had a woman say anything about it, but definitely got made fun of it a little bit here and there.
Do you have a hairy chest? Does it cover the small, tiny nipples that are on your chest?
Nope, not at all.
So not only do you
Smooth
have
chest, tiny nipples.
but you can't even you can see them.
You know, singer Don Ho had a song called "Tiny
like,
Nipples."
you could see them and whatnot, but I mean, like, it's just, I've never seen anybody else with, like, smaller nipples than me.
So do you find, like, if you go to the beach, right? Because if that's the kind of thing, because it doesn't matter who you are. If you think you have a big nose, you look at other people's noses. So you go to the beach, you know you got your teeny tiny nipples. Do you find that you look at other people's nipples to see if there's someone who could understand where you're coming from?
Always go.
Like, wow, it's probably the only one that stands out here.
I think women would be jealous.
But a tiny nipples?
Yeah.
Well, it depends.
No.
Like, who was the chick that had the, was it Cardi B or something like, Jesus, man. They're like, ooh, it's a topless picture of Cardi B. And so, like any red-blooded man, I clicked on the picture, and then I felt bad. I'm like, I feel like you sent me there as a punishment.
Yeah.
Like, warning, you are not going to believe what
I
you
think
see.
if even Janet Jackson had a better nipple, that we wouldn't have gotten in trouble.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean?
I don't know that the nipple matters that much.
It
doesn't matter to
matters.
me.
It mattered to me because we were watching that Super Bowl where she's running around with Justin Timberlake, but we didn't see it happen in real time because it was so quick. We heard about this after the Super Bowl, so naturally, we go online, we look it up, and I'm like, that's horrible looking. Nobody wanted to see that.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, I got to know if I've ever gotten a brawl off a woman and then been like, oh, ugly nipples, I'm out.
No.
You don't say you're out, but look, I'm sure women have done it with me. We have done it with women where there's some kind of surprise. Look, Miles had sex with a woman with a tail. All right, and I know.
Surprise!
Right. You fought through it.
Yeah, and I'm sure she was just as grossed out when I took my shirt off. So what the hell's the difference?
My problem with my nipples are they're way too sensitive.
Oh, really?
Haven't you ever noticed? Like, that's half the time it's why I like wearing a hoodie.
No, I have not noticed your nipples.
If I come back from the bathroom, they're out.
Your nipples will be
Why?
hard.
Every time.
I get hard nipples.
Yeah, it's constant.
Mm-hmm.
The bathroom?
That's what I'm saying, man. Sometimes it's not even cold out. And I'm just like, fellas, what are we doing?
Reason we asked, physically speaking, what are you self-conscious about? Curtis McCoy is 46 years old and his husband of 10 years, and he got into an argument on Sunday evening. They had both been drinking alcohol, according to South Carolina police. Couple live in Myrtle Beach. They were arguing when McCoy allegedly brought up how the victim only has one testicle, which caused the victim to get upset.
The loneliest number that you'll ever do.
As the dispute continued, the victim pointed his finger at McCoy and yelled back at his spouse. McCoy allegedly grabbed his husband's finger and twisted it, causing him great pain. After initially denying to police that he had touched his spouse, McCoy repeatedly said, I only grabbed his finger and twisted it when he pointed it at me. He added that the couple learned their lesson from the last time they got arrested for domestic violence. McCoy was arrested and booked into local jail on a misdemeanor count. He was released from custody after posting $2,120 as a recognizance bond. Yes, he posted $2,120. I don't know who the person was.
Maybe they like Rush.
Who let him out of there, yeah, but they maybe want to have more some lifesome. McCoy's rap sheet includes convictions for shoplifting, disorderly conduct, assault, and battery, and making fun of a person
who has one testicle.
One testicle.
So the guy called and said he has small nipples. Right? Feels like he's alone. Well, nipple talk has begun. Say, I have tiny nipples too, small as a dime. Tell him he isn't alone. You're not alone. Someone else, my nipples can hide behind a dime. My wife loves telling people
how small your nipples are.
Someone else, hey, he's a dude. He doesn't even need nipples. You know, that's a fair point. Someone else says, I'm weird about my nips too, but they have no color. Check it. I refuse to. And finally, I got thrown out of a car and lost a nipple to road rash.
Oh no. It doesn't go back?
It says I still have the pink circle, just no bump.
Oh, I don't know why I'm laughing
Man,
at
just
that.
go and get it tatted on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Hey, dude, just give me a nipple.
Right. Nipples are a thing.
Lost mine in a motorcycle accident.
Yeah, I met a girl on a plane once who had breast cancer. So her boobs were made out of stuff from
They tatted them all up.
No, she had no nipples. So they were there because they had gotten I guess from her butt or something. But it was just weird. And then she's like, "You guys want to see them?" We're like, "Yeah."
And it was just nipple free.
Yeah.
All right, here's my question.
On a plane?
It was.
Would you get arrested for being topless? Right, because the thing that makes it topless is the nipple, right? Because you can show cleavage. If you show nipple, that's where the authorities get involved. If you have no nipples and a woman walks around topless,
so what?
Is it the same? Right? You got to wear pasties at certain strip clubs.
The only reason they want you to wear a shirt, even if you're a man, into a store is because you have nipples exposed.
Nipples, right. So if I have no nipples, can I just walk in? I mean,
I just like the idea now of being like, I'm getting rid of my nipples. I'm never wearing shirts.
I don't need them.
Shirtless.
More of the random question coming up 206-421-ROCK.
New on Curiosity Stream.
Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean you can't.
Watch Earth's greatest minds forge our path to a better tomorrow. It's engineering the future. And Jaws, Star Wars, The Godfather, E.T. The biggest movies have even bigger music. From King Kong to The Dark Knight. See how musicians scored Hollywood's greatest hits on great film composers' music of the movies. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Oh, fiddlesticks! What, Wilbur? We just got hit and I think my back has all been out of shape.
You gotta talk with those whippersnappers at the Advocates Law Firm. They're the best injury lawyers around.
What? Pipe down, Clarence! Abner's telling me about the lawyers and the advocates. So what happened to you, Abner?
I was walking across the street with the light when some young punk came screeching around the corner. I lost a toe.
What? Shut it, Clarence! If you get injured, the advocates get results.
AdvocatesLaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
The men's room is in progress. 99.9 KISW and KISW HD1 Seattle.
Friday, February 12th. Join us as KISW celebrates 50 years. The 50th anniversary celebration is on.
Years.
We'll celebrate Friday for sure all weekend long, and then the whole year. Be nothing but one giant party.
50 freaking years. That is unbelievable.
From what we understand, Ted, chicken wings, pizza, cases of beer, Jack Daniels. We're going to put in an order for your favorite liquor right now.
Oh,
get
yeah.
some of that screwball.
Screwball's coming
peanut
in.
butter and all that stuff. Yeah.
Ooh, that's a dangerous one.
It's going to be an incredible day. It's going to be an incredible weekend. It's going to be an incredible year. We'll launch it on February 12th on Friday, celebrate 50 years and our 50th anniversary celebration. We're going to talk to band members from what we understand. Station alumni will be joining us. Other names from the Pacific Northwest, of course, you the Rockaholics, who, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here for 50 years. So we're asking you to stop in and join us for a little bit of a memory there from the years gone by. Hell, it's been 16 for us.
Yeah,
we can't remember anything. Half this stuff's going to surprise even us.
All right.
And we're not sure exactly all the luminaries and special people that will be calling in and talking to us.
Luminaries, yeah, luminaries.
But apparently it's going to be quite the impressive array of people from, the KISW history of 50 years. So
It's been a long time, man.
all the details at KISW.com. Join us. So the 50th anniversary celebration brought to you by our friends at Palace Law. It's going to be a great day. We're excited. We're still not sure all the people that are joining us, when they're going to call in, how this whole thing's going to go down.
We'll just be here. We'll talk to whoever calls.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the easy way to play it, right?
But hopefully it's going to be very cool. That's for sure. Random question, 206-421-ROCK. And who's our next caller there?
Oh, before we get there, let's finish nipple talk. We had a guy who said, is there anything physically that you're self-conscious about? Says he has teeny tiny nipples. But he felt like he's alone. Well, he's not. We continue. Someone else says, speaking of nipples, mine have been compared to mosquito bites. Those are some serious teeny tiny. Okay. Someone else says, why do men even have nipples? We don't know. My mom had a coworker that put her foot on the edge of the tub while showering to shave her legs. The razor slipped, and she shaved her nipple off.
Oh.
And then there's this one. I was born with 6 nipples. 2 shrunk away, but I still have 4. 2 are just really small. My girlfriend tells everyone.
You should donate those to those other listeners.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Say,
A nipple donation.
What do you need? I got a nipple.
Hello, Manuel. Welcome to the men's room.
Tiny nipple for tiny mouth, man.
That's right. Hola. All right, Manuel, welcome to the program. And random question. Let's see. How about this one? It's kind of interesting. Based on your friends, your family, and everyone else, how many different names, nicknames, do people call you? This includes people who only call you by your last name. This includes your mom, who might call you by your full name, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So how many nicknames do you think that you actually have?
Oh, geez, that's actually a good question. Back in high school, some of my friends had different names for me, and it got to the point where it's like, you know what? We're going to write a list of how many names that we have for you. And they legit, 2 pages, front and back, had names for me. From
so everybody calls you something different.
To nipple knees, to mooner, to you name it.
Why would they call you nipple knees?
I was playing around, playing basketball, and my knees fell in some grass that was muddy. And then when we continued playing, I had some like those beige kind of pants on, so it looked like I had nipples for knees.
Okay. All right, that's all it takes.
How about deviations on your own actual name?
Deviation? Oh, see, that's another funny one because my name is Manuel Vera. My last name, if you're Hispanic, you can change it to the Spanish word for penis. And then,
lucky you.
So you're never like Manuel Chevy Vera or anything like, or Vega or anything like that?
Yeah, there you go, Verga. I didn't want to say it, but yeah, Verga. That's the last name. And then Manuel and everyone made fun of my first name because busting the manual transmission, and then people that didn't know how to pronounce my name, Emmanuel or Manuel, Mayo, Menu, Mayo. I mean,
have you ever tried to use it to your advantage? Like, hey, ladies, ever drive a manual?
Yeah.
A stick, I mean,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Well,
I guess we asked the right person.
Okay. Ted, I know you've had a ton of nicknames.
Sure.
I mean, how about Smitty? Who's the first person come to mind if I say Smitty? Who calls you that?
Dick Brown.
Dick Brown, but he's probably the only guy, right?
Well, he was just the freshman football coach at DeMatha.
Did you have a nickname for a guy named Dick Brown?
We did not, and he's dead.
Oh. Thanks.
I should have said that.
What would we have called him?
Right. I'm trying to, like, baseball growing up, nobody really did, but it was, as soon as I got to high school, it was like Smitty, then Tiny. I was Squirrel for a while.
Why Squirrel? Like Tiny, I get. If you're not Tiny, you get the nickname Tiny, but why Squirrel? Always had nuts in his mouth.
We were walking through the Homewood campus one day, and I was like, you know me, hey, man, look at that squirrel. Wonder what that squirrel's doing. And my buddy's like, we should call you Squirrel.
So you became Squirrel.
Squeezy. Squizzle.
All right. I remember the Naked Tizzle for a while.
Right, the Hairless Tizzle.
Hairless Tizzle. That's
What does your mom call you?
Teddy.
Teddy. So she's probably the only person who calls you Teddy.
Bernie. I know your buddy Bernie calls you Teddy.
Bernie. And the only person out here that does it is Terrence sometimes.
Really?
So I'm like, all right, you can get away with it.
Has anyone thrown out a Theodore?
People do it all the time, and I correct them. My real name is not Theodore, and he was the worst chipmunk.
All right. Do they try Edward?
No. Nobody ever thinks of Edward.
Fast Eddie, none of that?
Right. And then, well, I did have door to door. They never called me Ted. I went by Edward.
Okay.
And it was awkward. Because I just never went by Edward in my whole life.
Right.
So, but yeah, I had a ton of nicknames.
It's just amazing. You just have a basic name, but people take it, and like everybody calls me a different name.
Sure.
All my friends call me something different. I mean, for the most part, it's weird.
Well, you have Monty, Montgomery, Miles.
All my daughter's friends call her Monty. Most of them. There's a lot of them out there that do.
Okay.
I've heard Miles. I've heard Kilo.
Of course.
Then if you just get to my first name, James, there's James, Jimmy, Jim, Jamie. I mean, God.
You know even if you got a random text based on
Milo's a big one.
Based on the nickname that they use, you know who it is.
Yeah.
Right? Because I get Steve, I get Thrill. If it's family, it's always Steven. It was Pop Rock for a while. Couple of years. This ugly chick at the bar, she wanted to service me, but with Pop Rocks in her mouth. Right? And I was like, hey, thanks, but no. But the next day, I was Pop Rock for like 4 years. What's up, Pop Rock? I'm like, no, bro, I'm not Pop Rock. I had to do it.
That's what's weird. Like, was it just last fall? I went back for my 20th high school reunion.
Yeah.
And there was guys that I hadn't seen in 20 years, and they were like, pretty T. And I was like, oh, man, I forgot you guys just called me that.
Yeah.
They don't call you anything else.
You're not that far off, Miles.
I know. It's a good thing to keep those high school yearbooks to bring out every 10 years just to do a brief refresher. Not that you'll recognize any of these people. The reason we asked there, how many different nicknames do people call you? BuzzFeed came out with a list of celebrities who are known by different names to friends and family that we know them to be.
So what's the nickname? We'll see if we can guess.
Okay, Christopher Walken.
So we need to know what his real name is?
His real name was Ronald Walken.
I think either they call him Ronnie or Chris.
All of his friends call him Ronnie.
Okay. All right. So pure stage name.
Christopher Walken, just an actor. If you know him, he's always been Ronnie. Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle.
Meg. All of her friends call her Meg. There's no one that calls her Meghan, apparently, except for the press.
Yeah,
so anytime they're, talking about her, it's Meghan, but she's Meg. Calvin Harris.
Oh, the DJ.
Yeah.
They call him Cal. The Harris.
His name is Adam. That's all you need to know. The guy's name's Adam. Everybody knows him, calls him Adam.
All right. Calvin Harris sounds cool, though.
It does.
How about Lord?
She's Australian, so they call her Mate.
L.
Mm-hmm. Ella.
Oh, okay.
Ella. Yeah. But yeah, she's Ella. Lord, obviously a stage name.
Yeah.
All right. Rihanna.
Oh, Riri.
Rihanna.
I like Riri.
Her name's Robin.
Really?
So anybody who dates her, anybody who's a real friend, she's Robin.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Julianne Moore, she was born Julie Smith, and everyone still calls her Julie.
Jules. Oh, no,
yeah, Julie or Jules.
Or Ginger.
How about Lizzo?
Liz.
Her real name is Melissa, but most people call her by her nickname Lisa or Lissa. Lizzo's a combination of Lizza and the Jay-Z song Izzo.
Okay, Lizzo.
So she put it together. Lady Gaga.
Gaga. Oh, she's got it.
Yeah.
What is it?
Stephanie.
That's a real first name.
I was going to say, it's got to be just a regular name.
Gomez. Selena calls her Steph. Who else on here?
What, they call Selena Gomez?
You could, I guess, right?
No, I mean, I'm saying, is that what she goes by?
No. So what's that?
That makes her a lot less attractive. Hey, Gomez.
Yeah,
I'm just
saying.
Gomez, get in here.
Selena calls her Steph. Anne Hathaway was on Fallon a couple weeks ago, and she basically said that Anne is her professional name that she used at one point in time during a headshot.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there was already an Annie Hathaway. There was an actress.
Well, there's also Shakespeare's wife was Anne Hathaway.
So she's Annie. So whatever there. And Timothy Chalamet. Is that right?
Tim Tam.
You know him.
Friends call him Timmy.
Timmy.
It also depends on It also depends on just the people. So, like, there's people who have emailed this show, and I don't know who they are, but if they call me Teddy Pendergrass, I could guess kind of.
Right. The angle they're coming from. Right.
Okay. All right.
Random.
Hello, David. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. David, welcome to the program. Random question. Let's see what we got here for you. How's your weekend, by the way?
That was great.
All right, let's go with this. What would you say is the weirdest dynamic or weirdest thing just about your family in general? Maybe it's not your proudest moment, but it's not on you. It's just your family.
Just how family is, man.
Yeah.
Let's see, weirdest dynamic or weirdest story?
Either way.
Oh, awful story. Let's see, I was at a family dinner. It was like right around Easter, and I let like a really off-color joke off because it was the only frying pan joke I knew. And everybody, they still bring that up like 3 years after the fact.
Just based on the fact that they were embarrassed or they felt that you embarrassed yourself?
Both.
Okay.
I'm guessing it's not a joke you can tell on the radio.
I mean, I can. I mean, the language is pretty tame, but it's awful. It's, let's see, how did it go? How do you kill 100 flies at once?
Did you say 100 flies?
Yeah.
At once. How do you kill 100 flies at once?
Hit a starving African child in the face with a frying pan.
Wow.
Frying pan joke,
Yeah.
I know. I'm
And you said
sorry.
this at a family dinner?
Yeah, the ham was there, the potatoes, the aunt, the uncle.
the ham was there.
Oh, yeah, that's...
the ham was
even
there.
the ham
Get
was
racist.
like-
No, once the ham is down, you can crack any joke you want. That's the family rule.
Jesus.
That's why Easter's wild.
Now, was this like the late 80s? I mean, at the time where this was top of mind, or what?
I wish I could tell you.
Yeah.
Bad
All
joke.
right.
A couple too many drinks. Yeah.
So it sounds like your family's actually pretty on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. Not that wouldn't offend anybody, but, if they're going to be mad at you. That's,
I've heard that joke before.
Bunch of more folks.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
That's the joke.
Well, see,
I did not see that one coming.
No.
I was like, oh, man, that is uncomfortable.
I think that would be a different dynamic to be raised in a Mormon home.
Well, sure.
Just based on the fact that you can technically have caffeine.
Caffeine, alcohol,
And then you
stuff.
need to do
What do they call it?
It's a mission.
It's your mission, right? When you're 18 years old, you need to go and give back to the church. Those are all different dynamics.
Very, very different.
I mean, if I had to do that, I'd probably lose my mind. They would send me to...
I'd have been booted out.
They would send me to the
no
worst
way.
place.
There's just some things I'm not going to do. Like, if I don't grow up with caffeine, then you don't miss it because you don't know it. But that said, I did not grow up with drugs either. But there's a point where you discover them and you're like, yeah, I'm done with your ways. I want to experiment with this. And I certainly do not want to unsolicited knock on people's doors to tell them what I think of things.
Right. Well, this one right here is, sometimes people make you look bad, so they say. We go to the fine state of West Virginia. What's the weirdest thing about your family? And pleading guilty to killing John McGuire. Anna Marie Cloudherry said she was made to do so by her father and sister, who wed weeks later. The deadly night that eventually led to the father and daughter marrying after they killed the daughter's boyfriend kicked off with a Valentine's Day dinner in 2019.
Oh, that's so romantic.
But it wasn't until after the meal, steaks, potatoes, a bottle of wine, no ham, that things started to get strange. According to Anna Marie, a third member of the family, according to the Bluefield Daily Telegraph, joined in the murder of her sister's boyfriend. That night, John McGuire was struck on the head with a wine bottle, tied up, tortured, injected with methamphetamine, strangled, buried, dismembered, then buried again.
Jesus.
According to the outlet. Cloudherry's sister, Amanda, and McGuire were a couple at the time of his murder inside the home where they lived with their father, Larry McClure. And he ended up marrying his daughter after they murdered her daughter's boyfriend with the help of her other daughter.
This is so messed up.
Yes. They buried the man in a shallow grave on the property. Larry told police where to find it while being questioned for another offense. They weren't even there to look for anything suspicious in that instance. It was brought to their attention some other things were going on the property, like maybe meth manufacturing. So they were there for that.
And then he was like, hey, by the way, you should know there's a body dismembered.
Well, they also wanted to ask him a couple questions based on the disappearance. So at that point in time, it was just a missing persons case. So when they went to talk to him, he had a lot more information and basically just said, oh, yeah, you know what? hell with it. He's buried in the backyard.
Maybe I'm a bad person. Maybe I'm thinking the way most people think. I don't know. But it's a terrible story, right? So you say a woman murders a man after tying him up, torturing him, hitting him in the head, inject him with meth, bury him, dig him back up, dismember him, rebury him. Like, that should be enough to go, this is horrible. And it is. But somehow when you add, and then she married her father, I'm like, oh, my God. Now it's messed up. Like, that makes it a little too much.
Well, there's just a few rules that we have as society that nobody has to agree on. Doesn't matter what your religion is. And incest is one of the rules.
Mm-hmm. Like, you can dismember someone, but you can't marry your dad.
Right, it just still makes them horrible, horrible people. And they've got to go to prison. But you're right. Like, somehow then you married your dad. It's like, oh.
Now it's weird.
Yeah.
Hello, Janelle. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola. Janelle, welcome to the program, the random question. All right, Janelle, I'm going to give you this one. Have you ever been part of a love triangle?
No.
Never? You've never been dating some guy and some other guy's like, listen, Janelle, you're the one for me and I don't like that guy being with you.
I led a sheltered life.
Did you ever date someone who was dating someone else besides you?
No, but I've only dated 3 people in my life, so.
But all at the same time.
I married 2 of them.
You married 2 of the 3 people that you dated. So is it safe to assume that your first boyfriend, who was like a high school boyfriend or whatever, was the one that you did not marry?
Right.
Okay. And then how long were you married to your first husband?
9 years.
Okay. That's
and
pretty good
how
stretch.
long before you got married again?
I got married again 4 years later.
And are you still married to that guy or have you moved on?
No, I'm still married 25 years.
Wow. That's fantastic.
It's only 3 guys to figure out the one you want to be with. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Do you remember who was the best one in the sack out of the 3?
The one I'm currently married to.
Was this? I mean, because you've only been in 2 cars before, right? So, I mean, this guy can just be an okay driver,
right?
And you might think, oh my God, this is a guy. He's amazing.
But isn't that all you need?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been on roller coasters I like, and someone says, ooh, you got to try the one here. Well, I haven't been on that one, so as far as I know, this roller coaster's still bad.
So, for example, you take 3 random people, right? And I'm one of them. And then you put us all in there and you go, all right, who's got the biggest penis?
Not you.
I've got a third of a chance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
33%.
I got 33%, which means there's a chance that I'm just going to knock someone's socks off. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, wow, I've only met 3 people and you're one of them. Or it could be like, I can't see it. You know what I mean? But I still got a 33% chance. Just saying. Reason we asked if you've ever been a part of a love triangle. According to a new survey, 37% of people say they've been in a love triangle at some point in their life.
I don't think I have.
What counts as a love triangle? Do we all
you have
know?
to be aware of it. You have to be aware of it, and it has to matter to you. I mean, I'm sure everyone's dated someone, and someone else had a crush on you, but if you don't know it, or the person you're dating isn't getting like, hell, Mike, your fiance, didn't you say your old neighbor? Like, give her a handwritten note like, hey. Would you call that a love triangle or just some snarmy guy?
I might if he had a chance.
Did you like, did you pop his tire or anything before you moved?
I was so close, Miles. The knife was in my hand, man.
Men are slightly more likely than women to have it in either a love triangle scenario, and younger people are far more likely than older people to admit that they've been in one.
Of course.
Yeah.
We know that works.
More of the random question coming up, 206-421-ROCK.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too-big-to-fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.